screens glow like city lights, heartbeat caught in the candles rise. Ticks drift through the static haze, future whispers in dead waves. Charts breathe, pulse of cold echoes where the numbers float. Every tick a breath I chase, lost inside this market space. I'm trading futures, trading time. Lines of rhythm, dollar signs. In the silence I align between the noise and the divine. Micro beats and macro dreams, golden silicon, endless streams. Patterns form then fade away. Prophets ghost won't ever stay. My pulse synced with the candle's flame. Fear and calm, they sound the same. One more tick, another try. Balance on the reason why. Risk is a rhythm. Patience, a sound. I breathe between the bars of now and next. I'm trading futures, sharing time. Fading lines through liquid signs. Every loss and every climb, all dissolve inside the mind. Tick
I trade. Cold mind, discipline is how I'm made. Emotions off, execution upgrade. I move like a bot. Profits never late. Robot mode. I follow my plan, never overload. Robot mode.
What's up, fam? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's going down? What's up? What's up?
No clean setup, I chill instead. Daily loss a hit, I'm out no sweat. No ego, no tilt, that's how I'm bred. I don't chase candles, I choose.
Yo. What up? What up? What's good? What's good, fam?
Discipline first, profit in the plan. Effort and energy to build like a man, but trade like a
Boosted Dime. C. Whitson. Dwart. Naruto. Zoe from Finland in the house. Short King. What's up, people? It's Burn Trades. I hope Darb's out there, because he made a banger for us. We got an Anthem now. What's up, people? What's up? What's up? C. Kennedy. Everyone's clicking in. Everyone's clicking in. Matt's in the house. Matt's in the house. He's going to be here for the banger. The world premiere of our Anthem. The Sir Darb is here. The Sir Darb is here. What's up? We got a chill session today. Matoski, look, everyone else is calling him Matoski now too. It's a great, it rolls off the tongue, it's smooth. Jake from State Farm can save us a bunch of money. Nice. What's up, fam? Who's new here? If anyone's new here, stamp it in chat where you're tuning in from. We're doing giveaways today. Don't worry, we are doing giveaways. Let's see what we're giving away today. Let's see what we're giving away. We are giving away today. What's today? Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Definitely giving away a couple of boot camps. All right, I'll double check with Slack, see what we're giving away. I know we're giving away boot camps. Maybe some accounts too. I'll check with Slack. Welcome, fam. Welcome. All right, let's see. Zoe from Finland. Boosted Dime tuning in from the sticks as usual. Alternator trying to win a boot camp. Alabama's in the house. Nice. Let's get it, fam. Devin, what's up? Trade with a brain, not overload. Robot mode, discipline first, profits follow code. Robot mode, discipline first, profits follow code. All right, message in the Slacks. Devil's here. Discipline first, profits follow code. Devin. Send that blue cam your way. Well, we'll do the giveaway. Don't worry, we got it. We got two more boot camps to give away. Vanilla Hammer, what's up? What's up? Let me ask a question, because this was I had a long bias at the open, but I was not confident. I traded scared today, and I actually had a later in the session nice short idea, and I got the entry right, and I exited it before it took off. I'll go over that. I was trading scared today, so I feel lucky. I was trading scared today. Got pushed out of the top 3. All right, so we're about to go lights on, and then we're gonna have our Anthem. Our world premiere of our Anthem. World premiere. Who wants to have an Anthem for the room? Who wants it? We're about to have an Anthem. All right. Now, we gotta, just trust me. We got a banger Anthem. We're almost at 200 concurrents. We're about to drop it. I turned off the music just so we can come into it. We're coming into it nice and paced, because then we about to drop it. All right, who's ready? Who's ready for the Anthem? All of our regulars are in the house. We got some new people in the house. Let's go lights on. All right, we're lights on. If you're ready for the anthem, here's what I need you to do, because it is a banger. Sir Darb came through with a banger. So turn up your volume. I'm serious. This is a banger. So turn up your volume as loud as you comfortably can listen to it. Okay? This is not ear doctor advice. So do what you want with your own volume. Not ear doctor advice. But I recommend you jam that volume up as high as you possibly can listen, because we're about to have a banger. We're going to drop it in 3, 2. It's a banger. Turn up your speakers. Here we go. The Room Shows Up. Written and produced by the Sir Darb. We got an anthem. Drop it.
Afternoon stream, let's get it. Neon on the mic, yeah. Neon stepping in, yeah. Session wide awake. Night shift laid the ground. Matt set the play. Now it's midday money. Structure on the screen. Neon seeds acting holy, price moving clean. No FOMO type in the channel mode. We learned that lesson back in 24. Half gap buys when the market dips. DD bands bounce and we let it rip. Bulls on flashing like a warning light. If it's not a line, we let it slide. Patience, heavy discipline, sharp. Room full of killers, but we play it smart. When the clock strikes noon, liquidity rising, feel that boom. Calm hands on the play, red to green, we pivot that way. The room shows up. Yeah. The room shows up. Yeah. Yeah. Volume builder, feel that shift. Market makers tryna midday drift. Fake break high, yeah, we seen that move. Liquidity pocket, we approve. Wish fan blowing when the entry's tight. Stops place clean, risk held right. Not gambling candles, we stacking skill. Consistency over chasing thrill. Chat moving steady, no chaos here. Green heart emojis when setups clear. If we win together, we lose composed. Trust the system, the blueprints close. Yeah, yeah. The room shows up. Yeah. The room shows up. When the clock strikes noon. The room liquidity rising, feel that boom. The room shows up. The room shows up. Calm hands on the play, red and green, we pivot that way. The room shows up. The room shows up. The room shows up. The room shows up. Silence when the setup phones. Heartbeat with the market stones. One clean entry, breathe, don't rush. Midday pressure, but the room shows up. The room shows up. When the clock strikes noon. The room liquidity rising, feel that boom. The room shows up. The room shows up. Calm hands on the play, red to green, we pivot that way. The room shows up. Yeah, yeah. The room shows up. Yeah, yeah. The room shows up. Yeah, yeah. The room shows up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Neon live. Midday grind. Rock the scooter. Showing up.
The room shows up. I mean, Sir Darb knocking it out of the park. And then after he sends it, we get a video together for it. The room shows up, baby. We got ourselves an anthem. The movement is moving. The Rocket Scooter family is growing. Let's get it, baby. Let's get it. Sir Darb producing the track. Me coming with the video. We put it together. We got it, baby. I mean, come on. Come on. Sir Darb getting it done. My man. We love it. We love it. All right, let's put on some chill. Let's put on some chill in the background. But I mean, thanks, Darb. Yeah, Darb sent me the song, and I was like, dude, it needs a video. It needs a video. It needs a video. It needs a video, but that's why I did the video. Darb, I couldn't not put a video for that. So that's the anthem. The room shows up. Thank you for being here. We're lights on. All right. So pretty chill session, pretty chill show today. I want to go over just a little overview of how the pre-market action influenced me too much today. You know, I looked at the I'm usually pretty good at not paying too much attention to the news and the pre-market action. You know, admittedly, this war news and the pre-market action, the open yesterday, it affected my view of the market. It affected my view of the market. So I feel lucky. I feel lucky to have picked the right direction at the open today. Yeah, I feel lucky. And then I switched my bias, and it was a good setup, but I didn't have conviction, so I basically got out of it break even. And that's number 4, right? When the setup looks too good, but conviction isn't there. And then we'll just do chill vibes and giveaways, right? We'll do chill vibes and giveaways. We're going to give away a couple of boot camps, and then we may have also an account we can give away. I'm just waiting to hear back from Slacks. All right, guys. So market today. So right to item number 3. I was influenced by the pre-market action. I was influenced by the news. And that's unlike me. Usually I know that there's a news event, but I don't really know the output of it, right? You all have probably heard me say this before. I pay attention to when there's a news release. I don't pay attention to the output because, yeah, smash that like button, guys. If you like the anthem, smash the like button. I don't pay attention to the output because I know just from my history that it affects my decision-making in the way that I look at the chart. And it affected my decision-making in the way that I looked at the chart today. So, because I lost an eval pre-market, and because it was just not a good place to be trade. Like I was trying to scalp in pre-market, and you know, that eval got chewed up, and you know, it just wasn't a great read on the market pre-market. So let's go over the actual chart here. So if you look in the top right corner of the screen, see here, making sure it's updating. Okay, here we go. So top right corner of the screen, I think I was just excited. Yeah, Zill from Finland, green, but one of the accounts dropped off because it was an eval that blew. So it dropped off it dropped off, but it's not all green. Red from pre-market. So this pre-market was just hard to navigate, and I shouldn't have been trading pre-market. Didn't have a good read. I think I was just excited about the activity and the news, right? I was excited about the activity and the news. And after getting chopped up in pre-market, I kind of said, okay, look at the chart objectively. What would you be thinking if you didn't know this news? What would you be thinking if you didn't, if you knew that something was going on with news, but you didn't know what the actual news output was, right? You didn't know that, maybe you should have a short bias because of the news, because it would make sense if I was just looking at the chart, right? So then let's just go, I'm going to scroll all the way back. So all we can see is just starting at the open, right? The levels at the open, or right going into the open. Let's just see here, a little too far back. Right around here is where I was like getting centered and saying, okay, don't let this affect you. Don't let this ruin your session because you're not thinking right because of the news. Because I wasn't thinking right. Like in that eval, I over risked. I wasn't thinking right. I had too much conviction in something that just didn't exist on the chart. So actually looking at the chart objectively after I reset, I saw, we've got, if you're not familiar with this platform in the top right corner, it's Neon Seeds. It's my own algo, and it's just shaded regions are decision blocks, gray regions are stable blocks, and black lines are previous high volume point of controls from previous sessions if they're clustered together. So when I looked at the chart objectively, I said, you know, there's liquidity on both sides, but the reason I was leaning to the long side is sometimes I say it would just be a little bit too convenient if we move in one direction based on some news catalyst, because in this case, okay, like I know the news catalyst now and I know what's going on, because it wasn't a situation where I could say, oh, I know that there's news, but I don't know what the output was. So I knew what the output was. And I'm thinking there's probably a lot of people trying to smash this short at the open. And knowing that I've seen the pre-market chart, I'm like, I think we can get a decisive move off the open. And let me just see if I can, I had it up earlier where you could show the execution. Let me just see. Markers. Hold on. I had the arrows up. To make the arrows pop up. Hold on. Because this is a little bit, like you could see what I was going through if I show the markers. There we go. Okay. So, right, you could see me getting long into the open, and then you could see me trimming, but you could see based on this execution map that I didn't have conviction, you know? So I'm long in here, and then my final, well, I did have a runner. I added one contract that took some off, but let me just see. I don't think it was many points from the final exit. It was 42 points, but it didn't feel, I didn't have conviction. You know, I didn't have conviction, and I missed most of this move, right? Except a couple of runners. And then, like, I didn't have conviction in the session, you know? And the levels were clean. I started thinking about a long in here, and then I exited it, right? Because I'd really missed where the clean entry was. And then this kind of moves to item number 4. When the setup looks too good, but conviction isn't there. Okay, so when the setup looks too good, but conviction isn't there. So this entry right at 24,935-ish, this was a really nice setup because it lined up perfectly with the rocket scooter level. So now if you look on the left-hand side of the screen, let me just find which level I was watching. 24,942. Let's see here. 24,009. Okay, here we go. So it was right around this area, if you could see on rocket scooter in the top left corner. So it's right around this bull zone area. So there's a pivot there. And on Neon Seeds, it was lining up with a decision block and a high volume point of control from a previous session. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, if there's a place to get short, you know, I'm thinking, okay, this is it. This is the opportunity. And let me zoom in a little bit more. And you could see my lack of conviction, okay? I get short. Right, I'm getting short. It's action's nice and tight. And then here I exited the full position. I changed my mind. And we did get this nice drop, but it was just one of those days where I know the news is in my head today because I know the news. Right? The news is in my head today, and I usually don't know the news. I usually just know that something's going on. But today, the news is in my head, and it's one of those things where you can't unhear something. You can't unknow something. Like, I know what's going on with the news. So I'm like, I don't know. I just not really locked into the chart because I have this news in my mind. So, I mean, that was the session. And you know, I think with that short, I think I felt lucky that I had that long off the open, and I didn't want to give the day back on something that I didn't have conviction on, because I didn't have that much conviction at the open either. I think it was a little bit of a hasty trade. You know, I think we could have easily sold off at the open as well. So I didn't feel locked in, and so I jumped out of that. Let me ask you guys, did anyone have strong conviction on direction today, or was everyone sort of a little bit confused? Because I was confused on direction today. Let's see. Open up had good probability. Maybe I thought like 60, I don't know. Super confused. You were bullish. I was slightly bullish. But you're always confused. You were confused. It didn't crash hard all on Sunday evening. Yeah. You know, sometimes, yeah, with the news, sometimes it creeps into your mind. You're like, okay, did someone know something first, you know? Did someone know something first? So I don't know, just no conviction in the direction today. Derek, strong conviction short side. Yeah. Yeah, we're in a pretty, it was a pretty, the liquidity was lacking this morning. Liquidity was lacking this morning. Or I wasn't really feeling it. We had volume. Let's see, what time did volume slow down? Volume started slowing down. The cross was 11:50. So right before lunch, volume really slowed down for the session. But price is still moving around. Price is still moving around pretty good. So definitely less liquidity today than we've had. So I think liquidity is a little light today. Yeah, a little whippy action. So we'll see. Yeah, a little whippy action. We'll see. I was just having trouble having conviction on a direction. Like even right now, you know, we could close with another short squeeze. We could sell off completely. What I really want to pay attention to is when we get down to this 24,955 area, right? When we get down here, I want to read the action here, and I think that'll help me pick a bias, perhaps. The bottom account is TPT eval. The one with $11, that's just one that I rotated because it's a TPT account that's at the profit target, so it's going to turn into another funded TPT account. So that one I'm not going to trade because that was just me opening and closing. Because you have to trade it for 5 days. You have to trade it for 5 days, and I think it took 4 days to pass. So the bottom account is one that I might want to try to get up a little bit more, because with the consistency rule on the TPT account, that one still has some room to grow today if we need to. Anyone have a bias right now? Anyone have a bias right now on direction? I feel like we got a recipe for a choppy afternoon, but yeah, I don't know. Knowing the news is just tough for me. Round trip to the bottom, Patton says. Bias is bearish, confidence is low. Is anyone new here? So I can give an overview on Rocket Scooter if people are new here and what that platform is. I think we finished around half gap, Derek says. Fair enough. Mr. Donald Obama, Hedge Fudge, STF, you're new. Nice. Smash the like button, guys. All right. So let's just go over kind of the dashboard. Let's go over what we're looking at. And let me just keep an eye on this We're actually getting pretty close to this level. I'm going to go over the rocket scooter platform. Let me just, we're selling down into this level. Let me just make sure I've got the right account up just in case. 1373. It's going to be a bull zone bottom. DD ratio less than half now. NASDAQ resilience still positive. So DD ratio down. DD ratio indicating down. Resilience indicating up. Let's see if resilience stays positive as we move down. Kind of getting mixed signals here. Kind of getting mixed signals. Patton says you can't unsee news, as you say. People need to get out of positions. Yeah, you can't unsee news. I wish I could. I wish I could look at this chart without knowing the news. Yeah. I do think it's pretty difficult to sell off through this region. We'll see. You got a bear zone top on. You have a bear zone top there on. You got a bear zone top there on SPY as well on ES. Oscar, what's going on, Oscar? Let's see. Bears bull zone bottom 24,935. Let's see where 24,935 is. Down here. I just want to put on one. I at least want to put on one here. Bull zone bottom 24,935. See how liquidity is here. Let's see. Yeah, Jason, that's actually something I learned on Friday. I just it's gonna take a because you know there's a different cognitive process when you've got multiple things going on. So something I learned on Friday, because Friday there was a nice setup that popped up, and you know, I went into focus, but then I watched it back. I watched that back, and I could tell I was processing information slower than usual, because I kind of can tell by watching the video, watching myself back, kind of what procedure I was going through, and I could just tell I was processing things slower. So that's something I'm going to need to get a feel for as well, right? Because this is additional cognitive load, right? I'm not just on my own locked in. So that's going to be an interesting experience as well for me, and you know, for you all to see me go through. You know, because it's a different cognitive load when you've got more than that going on, right? And I always commend Matt. You know, he's I mean, I know he's been doing it a long time, but he seems to be able to. I mean, I don't know if he's more locked in when he's trading, when he's not streaming. I'll have to talk to him and ask him, because he has a lot of experience with it, because that's something I'll be navigating as well, right? Because you kind of get locked in, and your full cognitive load is locked on one thing. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting. That'll be interesting to learn about myself. Devin, yes, definitely. We will definitely cover. We can definitely answer that. Let me just take a picture. Sometimes I forget. We'll definitely cover that in today's session. The bull zones and the bear zones. $33-point bounce. That's a 33-point bounce. See, at times like this, kind of what goes through my head and what I'm thinking about is, you know, because the levels are never exact, right? So I'm like, okay, is it just undershoot and that's the move? Is it just undershoot and that's the move? And I should pull my order and say, okay, you know, it undershot. I didn't scale in at the level and just leave it alone. Or do I keep, you know, the thesis on? That's sort of what I'm processing right now. GR Web, it'll show average cost if there's a position open. But you shouldn't follow trades. You shouldn't follow trades, especially since I'm navigating like what it's like to think while all this, you know, while the streaming's going on. So I mean, that's an even additional reason not to, you know. Still 33-point bounce. Top right. It'll show top right. Top right. MHP res above 0. Hedge pressure res above 0. Res above 0. Bear zone. Damn. I mean, to me, it just seemed like the market was healthier up here than it was. It just seemed like it was less liquidity at the lower levels. It just seemed healthier up here. That's why that's my bias. AKA, so AKA is asking about the damn, I think that was undershoot. Yeah. So volume velocity is the speed at which is the amount of time it takes for 2,000 contracts to go through NASDAQ. So as that goes up, it really means that velocity is slowing down. Damn, it was undershoot. That's the entry. 58 points. Damn. That's how it goes sometimes. I wouldn't, this was a little bit too far from the level for me to be wanting to jump in. I would say the main reason for me not wanting to scale in that early is because I see bull zone on NASDAQ at 24,935, which was way below this decision, well, 10 points below this decision block that I've got, the top of the decision block. So I don't want to, I don't want to be getting in too early if I'm already having to average into the position down there. But looks like that trade took off without me. CZ, the volume velocity uses 2,000 contracts, and the price velocity, let me hide the agenda. The price velocity uses 5 points of price distance. So there's no price, there's no there's no time frame associated with it. There's no time frame. No time frame. Damn, really missed the entry by 11 points. What a pain. All right, I'm gonna pull that. We'll reassess when it gets down to this level, but my confidence in this long has now dropped because it's a totally different setup now that we've already got this rip, right? This is the move I was looking for, but my orders were just a little bit too... My orders were too low. They were... But if I were to do it again, analyzing the chart, I wouldn't have got in here. I would have waited for it to get to the level. So sometimes that's just how it goes. Okay. So yeah, when volume velocity and price velocity move more in sync, typically means liquidity is higher. When they disconnect from each other, it usually means that liquidity is lower, right? So when I could just pull up a little graphic here. I'm going to pull up a graphic. I'm going to go over Rocket Scooter, and then we're going to give away a boot camp. So let's go ahead and open up our liquid versus illiquid example. So in the top, you could see the two indicators on the left and right. They're sort of moving in sync. That indicates, generally speaking, a liquid environment. And you could see in February, this was just a day in February I picked. I'm just watching this chart rip. Anyways, February 13th, you could see volume slowing down on the left, right, turning into the yellow. Means it takes more than 30 seconds for 2,000 contracts to go through. And you could see on the right, volume stayed very fast, right? 15, 20 seconds for 5 points of price distance to be covered. So they're disconnected. So that essentially means volume's coming through the market, and then when volume slows down, the price keeps moving. So it creates whippy action. All right. So that's what that is. Now, on the left-hand side of the screen, someone had asked about bull zones and bear zones. So you really just, if you're confused about the zones, right? If you're confused about the zones, I would start by just focusing on the the core fundamental of reading the chart, not worrying about the mechanics necessarily behind the zone. So sometimes people get confused because they're shaded and they're not just one line on the chart. So really just take this from it. The bull zone, the pivot is the bottom of it, right? So bull zone bottom. And on bear zones, the pivot is the top of it, right? So the bull zone, the pivot is here, and then it goes on to infinity. And the bear zone, the pivot is here, and then it goes down to infinity, right? That's, as far as reading the chart, that would be step one in starting to kind of read those on the chart. And then you've got your hedge pressures, your monthly hedge pressure, your weekly hedge pressure. So those, same thing, right? They're pivots, but in order to devise whether they're going to be support or resistance, there's an auxiliary indicator. It's at the bottom of the chart here, and that's called resilience. Okay, so the orange one, that's monthly hedge pressure. So if it's above 0, statistically speaking, you would expect that the monthly hedge pressure would be support. And the same concept applies to the weekly hedge pressure, right? So that's actually why you could see here, right? Bull zone. Let me see where hedge pressure is. Monthly hedge pressure. You can see it says support here. It's saying support because the auxiliary indicator that decides its tiebreaker, whether it's going to be support or resistance statistically, is down here, right? And you can see based on the DD ratio being less than half, that's what's devising these bull zones and bear zones to be resistance. So there's auxiliary indicators to understand what sort of action you can expect around the pivots, right? But there's nuance to it, right? So you can see I was long biased for this move, but technically bear zone, bull zone, they're marked as resistance. So you start to sort of learn the feel for the session and whether or not you want to deviate from that. Statistically, it's not right, but from nuance and experience, sometimes you can kind of feel things differently. All right, so it's time to give away a boot camp. So if you are new here and you just heard that overview, so the platform it's a very powerful system. It creates tradable pivots, and there's a boot camp that goes with it. So the boot camp allows you to, Matt, the founder of this channel, right, and the creator and the inventor of the platform, Rocket Scooter, he streams in the morning. He's currently doing a $100K to $1 million challenge, right? So tune in for that. And then we have Sir Darb, aka Brad, aka Sir Darb. He streams in the evenings, right? So you can catch his show at 7 p.m. Eastern, Sunday through Thursday. But the boot camp that Matt teaches, he goes over overall market information, and he also goes over Rocket Scooter specific stuff. And it's a really good set of information. So if you haven't taken the boot camp, I definitely encourage you to take that boot camp. So we're going to give one away right now. So let me just boot up my little giveaway engine here. And then I'm going to ask everyone to type boot camp in chat. It's giveaway time. Let's do it. Let's get here. We go to our show here. Give me a second. I'm booting it up. All right. We're going to type in boot camp and start capturing. All right, type boot camp in chat. Guys, type boot camp in chat. Let's give away a boot camp. And smash the like button while you're there. Smash the like button. Can't believe I missed this move. Sucks. But you know what? Chasing gets you cut up. I'd rather miss it than chase it and get smoked. Boot camp. Type boot camp in chat. Guys, smash the like button, please. The more likes we get, the more giveaways we can do. So hit the like button. All right, we're going to give it a minute and 30 seconds. Smeesh it. Smeesh the like button. The room showed up. If you missed the anthem, don't worry. You'll catch it again tomorrow. Sir Darb giving us an anthem for the show. Get your damn hand up. The room shows up. All right, giving away the boot camp. It's giveaway time. Low-key show today. See if there was any other questions you guys had. I take pictures of the questions as they come through sometimes just to make sure we cover them. All right. 28 seconds. Type boot camp in chat. Sinister Scalper, that's a cool name. Five, 4, 3, 2. All right. Let me share this here. We all want to see it. Giveaway. Un memento. There we go. All right, here we go. Pick a winner. Moneymaker. Jandrome. Moneymaker. Type something in chat. Use a winner. Type something in chat. There you go. All right, we got you. Let me just get your name in the sheet. Take a picture of it. All right, we got you. You won a boot camp. Congratulations. All right, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to the description of the video, click the link for our Discord, go to the contest channel, message the admin named Slacks, message him first. He won't message you first, and he will hook you up. Nice. Congratulations. Congratulations. Look at this. Squeezage. Damn. Not gonna lie. What's the sound playing before? Not sure. 92% of days closed within the bands, within the upper and lower DD band. Touched 5302. 92% of days closed within the bands. So that's this upper green line DD band and lower green line DD band. And last week, if you were here last week, there were several sessions where we were trading a lot of the duration of the session outside of those bands, which, you know, makes it difficult to have conviction trading outside of the bands. People like there's a setup for trading above the upper band, but there's no setup for shorting below the lower band. Right? Typically, you wait for the lower band to be reclaimed, and then you can, if you want to be long bias, you could take a long. Shorting below the lower band can be pretty sketch. Oh, AKA. AKA is asking about the previous music. The previous music was an anthem for the room that was created by our night show host, the Sir Darb, aka Brad, aka Sir Darb. So we've got 3 hosts. We've got Matoski, aka Matt, aka Matoski. He streams in the morning. He's doing 100K to $1 million challenge. I think he's at 500K now, a little over 500K. So already up nice, real nice. And then I do the afternoon, and then Sir Darb does the evening show. So that's the lay of the land. That's the lay of the land. Betty NQ, the room shows up. Were you here for the anthem? Betty, were you here for the anthem? Hope you didn't miss it. It was a banger. Matt Dabrowski. So the way I had to calculate the decision block, I mean, I don't go into the nitty gritty of it. I mean, it's that high level overview. It identifies liquidity pivots based on kind of micro analysis of the combination of volume velocity and price velocity. Right, so it monitors it throughout the session, and at the end of the session, it'll give me the levels. So it gives me the levels at the end of every day. But they're not like the rocket scooter levels. The rocket scooter levels are forward-looking. The rocket scooter levels are predictive. Neon Seeds, it's using past information. I mean, it works great, but I use it in conjunction with Rocket Scooter to maintain a higher accuracy level. Right? I like using them both. And then there's nothing, the black lines, there's nothing proprietary about those. That's just clustered high volume pivots, clustered high volume point of controls from previous session. If there's a cluster of them, it'll draw it. If it's just a single one, it won't draw it. It has to be a cluster. And then I have a kind of a filtering way of finding where I want it drawn, because I don't want to have multiple lines all around each other. Almost at 200 likes, guys. Hit the like button. Smash it. Smash the like button. Thanks for being here, guys. Growing the family. Growing the Rocket Scooter family. We love it. Anyone out there take that long? Look at this rip. Goes to dime. Not sure if I like the way you phrased that. Oh, God. You're funny. NFR. Not for resale. But anyway, I mean, that's what Rocket Scooter's for. Rocket Scooter's all you need. Rocket Scooter, clutch. If I had found Rocket Scooter, like if Rocket Scooter existed before I had developed my own stuff, I wouldn't have been looking to develop stuff on top of it. I mean, it's a complete system. I use Seeds because it's something I'm comfortable using from so many years, so I use it in conjunction with Rocket Scooter. I already put so much work into it, so I wouldn't abandon it. But for anyone, and I talked about this a few times, like for anyone who already has a system that you're comfortable with, like you don't have to abandon it, right? Rocket Scooter would enhance it because that's what it did for me. The tool like Resilience gives you a tiebreaker around the open, the close, and the midpoint between them, right? Half gap. Powerful tool, regardless of what system you're trading. And then the pivots. Knowing that these forward-looking predictive pivots are there and that they have statistical edge, I mean, to me, it would be irresponsible to trade the session without it. So that's why I don't. Seed enhancement. I feel like it's pretty enhanced. Let me ask a question since it's a pretty chill session. Anyone have any general questions? At least I can answer them, or you know, if it's ones that need additional kind of graphics or something to answer, I can at least note it down and answer it on another session. If anyone has any questions, throw them out there. Farina said, get your mind out of the gutter, chat. Farina. What's up, Farina? What's in the cup? In the cup it's ground barley. In the cup is ground barley. In the cup is ground barley. Ground barley, it's like an Italian thing because I don't do caffeine. Ground barley, it's an Italian coffee substitute. It's like you get it at Italian specialty stores. It's called, they refer to it as orzo. Orzo something B. Orzo. Jacob. I mean, if you have that issue, you may lack patience. Either you lack edge or you have edge, but then when your edge isn't there, you still exercise ideas that don't have edge, right? Because a lot of people have edge, but they don't have patience. So when their edge isn't there, they still keep trading. So overall, their edge is negative, right? They have setups where they have positive edge, but then they don't have the patience to wait for them. So their overall edge becomes negative, right? Because if you, let's say you have very little edge, 55%, but then you take a bunch of 45% negative expected value trades as well. You take 100 trades with a positive expected value, you take 100 trades with negative expected value. You take the trades with negative expected value based on your system because you're just not patient. So you're kind of taking trades that you know aren't good, that'll eat your profits up. Chishetto, Orzo Bimbo. Yeah, that's what it's called. Exactly. Boosted Dime said sounds miserable. No, it's delicious. I get crazy on caffeine. Crazy. Don't need caffeine. Guys, smash the like button. We're almost at 200. In the top left. Might be on the underlying. Let me check. Yeah, I believe that's for the index. BA, I believe that's for the underlying index. The top left hedge pressure numbers. The number for the underlying index, right? Because on the screen, I'm mapping the... On the screen, I'm looking at the futures, but the futures are not the same number as the underlying, as the ETF, right? Because like SPY price right now is around probably 688, 690, 690, something like that. So the hedge pressure on that, right, is represented as a different number. Farina, it's just... Farina's asking why I like that coffee, or it's coffee substitute. It's just, it's good taste. Good taste, and there's no caffeine in it. Jacob Packer. Yeah, like, okay, let me give you an example. Like, you're talking about why it would be hard to keep profits, right? You're talking about why it's so hard to keep profits. And you say you didn't know how undisciplined your mind was until you started trading. So I think you just, like, you observed that I didn't chase this move, right? So I don't know what time it was. It was probably I'd have to rewind the stream, but based on what I'm seeing here, I think it was probably around here, right? I placed an order here and somewhere down here, right? Just because I'm interested in probing this level for a possible long, right? And you can see it didn't get to my level. And we have this move up. Now, I got two choices there, right? I've got two choices there. And it would have been a different choice if it was the morning session. But in the afternoon session, a lot more difficult to make this choice. But let me just explain my processing. Let me explain my mental processing when my thesis is this level and this level to scale in, right? And I had the order sitting there. And what's my thought process is when it starts to turn around here, right? So when it starts to turn around here, and I've got my cursor on the top right corner of the screen, right? When it starts to turn around here, if we're in the morning session and things are moving a lot quicker and it's a lot easier, like in the morning, micro movement reading which side of the market the liquidity is on, it can be a little bit easier because things are moving quickly. But if it's liquid, you can kind of get an inkling of which way the market wants to go. It's less like an intraday swing trade. It's more like you can sort of scalp the action or scalp your entry. So if it was the morning, I would put on some size, not too much, because I would know that I might need to trim the position back if it does come down to the level I'm watching, right? But in the afternoon, that's a little bit more difficult to do because things are moving a little bit slower. So as I think, oh, okay, it might be turning around, I can, and sometimes I will. It depends on the individual situation. And again, this is what's kind of going through the mind as you're watching the action, as it's turning around right before your orders get tagged. And you notice I didn't chase it because what's going through my mind is, well, let's say I chase it and then it starts coming back down to the entry. Then my what's the word for it? Like the geometry of the risk is off. The geometry of the risk is off because I'm trying to put on a position down here, but because I wasn't patient and I chased, now I'm putting on a position up here. And then a lot of times you'll actually get the level that you were waiting for. So that is not an exact thing. All I know is that what went through my mind when it started to turn and it looked like it was taking off without me, what went through my mind was, it's the afternoon and I'm not going to be able to read the action, where if I put the position on and it starts wobbling around, I'm not going to be able to really have an edge on deciding whether it's going to come down into that level I was initially watching or if it's going to go. So my edge is diminished at that point. If it had come to my orders, I would be able to read it as my orders get filled or move the orders around and just read the action right as it comes to the level. But that wasn't the case. But not chasing, being patient, I would say that, you know, that will help you preserve your profits, right? Because you saw me, I was kind of like, oh, this sucks, like it's turning around, but I wasn't slamming on a position chasing it, because if this early turnaround before the level happens over the course of time, if I chase it, I feel like my edge will be neutral or negative on that. So I'm not trying to have a neutral or negative edge, because that's just the equivalent of losing. So patience. Man, you know, it's not thoroughly enjoyable watching a 125 point rip when it was that close to the entry, but you know, there's another session tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. Charm says he's short. Pray for him. Jacob, guess who else lives in Vegas? Yeah, boy. Beautiful outside in Vegas right now. I'm doing a little poll. Come on. Must contain between 1 and 35 characters. Oh. All right, here we go. Do we close near top of range-ish? Here's a question for you guys. Do we close at the top of the range-ish, or do we get that dumpage? 50-50 so far. Guys, hit the like button. Let's see if Slack's messaged me back. Let's see. Nope. 50-50. This is pretty telling. No one knows. There's no bias out there, huh? Boost the dime, too windy. TD ratio still negative. Above the close. Windy in the sticks. %56 say no, we dump. 56%. 56%. They're saying some dumpage, huh? $55. We still got votes coming in. 15 minutes to power hour already. Power hour sell-off? I don't... Let me see. Looks pretty healthy up here. Let me see what we got going on. See what our velocity meters say. Yeah, I mean, pretty stable up here. Let me zoom out on this chart a little bit. Let me take an objective look at the chart. I'm going to change to a 5,000 tick. Look, at this point, the news is a non-event. Absolute non-event. I wonder if we're going to get that rip your face off rally I was talking about on Twitter. Thesis number 2. 2 to 3 day rip your face off rally. I don't know. It's interesting, you know, I'd said this, a phenomenon that's become more prevalent since 2020 and more gambling participants and emotionally unstable participants who are making short-term bets came to the market. You get a lot more panic buying in the market. Right? You still get panic selling, but you often see like this panic, you see panic buying on in the market. It comes up, it happens. And that combined with short squeezes, you know, market dynamics, they're just different these days. Steven, yeah, I totally agree with that. I don't remember what year they came out, but I do remember dynamics changed a little bit with that. Steven said he thinks daily options on the indexes have a lot to do with that. Yeah, there's a lot more. I think there's a lot more gamemanship that goes on with those than before. Metamorphi, yeah, I have a I have just one. I have one oscillator, but I only use it in like a lot of it has to do with the color filtering for seeds. But if it's a rotational day, I'll look at that oscillator, and I'll sometimes glance at it and see where it is within the session. But price is random, so they're really not. Unless you're in a very rotational day where you're having really clean turnaround points. Those kind of indicators are, you know, they can hurt more than they can help. Oh, cumulative delta. Metamorphi is looking at cumulative delta. %53% thinks 54% thinks we're gonna get that dumpage. Ten minutes to power hour. All right, let's give away another boot camp. Let me open up our giveaway engine, because I believe this is the last boot camp of the donated boot camps that we got. All right, guys, type boot camp in chat. We're doing a giveaway. Boot camp in chat. Mad XLA asking when the market gonna crash. That's the $1 million question, but the market seems pretty healthy. So, I mean, I'm not predicting a crash. Maybe we'll have a sell-off. I don't know, but I take it session by session. I try not to make my predictions too far out because they affect my intra-session decision making. Like, if you were here at the beginning of the session, you even heard me say, like, the fact that I couldn't avoid knowing the news output and what the news was about, it affected my decision making today. You know, I had a bias at the open. I managed to reset and focus on the chart and have a bias at the open, but we got an explosive move, and I took off size way too soon in that move. And then I had the right level and the right thesis on the short. I put the trade on, and then I took the trade off before it worked because I just didn't have conviction today. So, I mean, that's an example of how too much big picture stuff throws me off my game. So, like right now, talking about would the market crash, I would just say, well, right now the market's pretty healthy. So, until it starts showing signs of being not healthy and starts selling off, and there's a lack of liquidity in that sell-off, that's when I would start to say, okay, like, you know, maybe this is crash territory, but it's pretty liquid right now, pretty healthy. We might get a seems like it's selling off and then a crazy rally, but session by session. All right, type boot camp in chat. 1 minute and 50 seconds, and I'm gonna do the drawing. Thank you for being here. Kind of a laid back session today. Which I bet last night we weren't expecting a laid back session. I mean, the action's been pretty clean. Nutsov, yeah, I mean, if it's not active, I'm sure you can. But if it's already active, you can't get a credit for it or something. But you could take it again, I'm sure. And there's great information on there. I mean, take the thing twice. All right, here we go. Giveaway. All right, we're showing it. 3, 2, 1. Pick a winner. Lewis. Story. 6226. Type something in chat. You're a winner. Type something in chat. If you're not a winner, but you want to take the boot camp, there he is. If you're not a winner, but you want to take the boot camp, it's only $20. There's a link in the description. It's only 20 bucks. The next one is in, I believe, is this month. I mean, it's just the information in it's really good. So if you didn't win, I still say sign up for that boot camp. It's really worth it. Regardless of how much experience you have. 10 months, 10 years, 30 years. Right, for less experienced people, you'll learn a lot of cool information. And for more experienced people, I think you'll learn information, but also you'll get to see a different perspective maybe on information that you already have. So there's something there for everyone. No, boot camp hasn't started yet. 1640 is asking if boot camp started. Boot camp hasn't started yet. Hasn't started yet, not yet. Can I ask Matt to hit a 500 contract short to move this down? Honestly, a 500, if you just slammed on a 500 contract short right now, you know, the market would obviously slip down, but it will probably track right back to around where it's at. 500 contracts wouldn't be enough for it to start. Most likely wouldn't be enough for it to actually turn the market around. It would move the market, though. It would for sure move the market. For sure would move the market. And that's actually something you'll learn about in the, that's okay. That's actually a good question. So that's something you'll learn about in the boot camp is sort of the way that futures, futures are tracking the underlying, well, futures are tracking the index. futures, the index, and the underlying stocks. They're right. They're all connected. But like the futures can deviate from where they should be, and it's sort of like a spring effect. So they'll bounce back. Take the boot camp. There's a full explanation on that, but it's basically like futures are tracking, futures are tracking, futures are tracking. And then all of a sudden, let's say there's some massive order in futures, right? So they kind of move on their own, but then there's like a spring and they'll go back to balance where they should be. And I believe that's what the arbitrage indicator, I believe, also is built around, right? Futures deviating from where they should be, and then sort of that spring effect. So if there's a deviation, the arbitrage number moves a number of points above or below zero, and it's sort of telling you that it's off track and that it has the potential to spring back. That's a new indicator that Matt's forward testing. He forward tested on his stream. So if anyone's interested, the morning stream goes live about 8:30 Eastern. Matt's doing a 100K to $1 million challenge. And you could also see he's forward testing that indicator in real time, which is cool. It's cool to see someone forward testing something, because forward testing is expensive because you're still discovering what the uses for something are. And you're building kind of session statistics and feel for it. But not sure when it's going to be, when there will be a boot camp lesson for it, but I believe it came out in December. It's been a few months. Power hour. Are we going to smell off or not? Market's pretty healthy up here, so I don't know. It would need volume. We'd really need volume to pick up, because you're not, my opinion, you're not going to be able to move through this without significant volume. Because it was a healthy, stable window. Bull zone 25.058, bear zone 40-point distance. Who's in shorts? Who's in longs? Who's flat? What's the room doing right now? Flat. Short. Wow. Short. Wow. Matoski back in the short at 25,100. Probably going to be a loss. Matoski's out there. The founder. Short, flat. Wow, a lot of shorts and a lot of flats. I feel bad being long, haven't been long buys. I feel like I don't want to fade the room. See whizzing. Waiting for a bit. Yeah, I'd say I'd say, you know, I liked it long. I liked it long when we almost came into this decision block. That's why I had those orders there. But hard to have more than a 55% edge up here to me. To me, it's basically 50-50 here. In my opinion. Healthy, though. Healthy. Did you all think we were going to have a bit of a wild session? It was pretty stable session. I mean, good range, but not a crazy, you know, there's no panic out there today. This is stable. Very stable. What's the range? Let's see. $450 points. Stable session. Man. Couldn't imagine having 450 points if I just held that long from the open. That would have been nice. Obviously, I never would, but... Mike H in the house with that devious name, which I said once. Devious. He got me. What's up, Mike H? He got me. And Jake from State Farm tried to get me too. Got him. You guys are the best. You guys are good. You guys are funny. Well, Wisher, watching from India. Nice. I was born in India. That's where I was born. We play the Anthem at the Open. The Anthem's the Open. Narut, don't worry, you get the Anthem tomorrow. Farina, you missed it? Farina. You gotta listen to the beginning of the stream again. There's a video for it too. I made a video. Look at this. 48 points. Nice. Wow, look at the volume coming in. I said if we're going to move down through this, we're going to need a lot of volume. Well, volume's coming in. Volume velocity dropping, meaning volume speeding up. Price velocity speeding up. Nice. It's burn trades. Not just slamming on thousands of contracts for you. All right. Nice little trade there. All right, so doubling the win on the TPT. Doubling the win on that TPT account there. That was the account I wanted to work on. So, they updated it. That was a nice little 50-point rip. $49, nice. That's the long I was waiting for. See, now, so I'm glad I didn't chase it earlier, you know? I waited for it. Alright, let me just update this little screenshot here. All right, so made about one risk unit there on the bottom TPT account. That was the one I wanted to work on this afternoon. And also that was good because I don't know if you were here earlier. I was saying like trying to figure out concentration, trying to figure out the balance of concentration when you're doing this, you know, because Friday I noticed I processed information slower than usual when I was watching myself back. So hopefully, you know, the more I do it, the more I'll start to get into my rhythm, being able to trade while I'm streaming, because it's the cognitive load is different. All right, so just to kind of go over why I was eyeing that entry was so in Neon Seeds in the top right corner of the screen. Okay, so that is that system. It draws three main things. Okay, it draws these gray blocks. These are stable blocks, right? It draws the shaded regions. Those are decision blocks. And then it draws, if there's clustered high volume pivots, it'll draw those directly on the chart. So that's what this black line is. If there's clustered high volume pivots from previous sessions, it'll draw them on the chart, right? So I've had my eye on this area for a long this afternoon. We didn't get it earlier, but we got a nice reaction off of it. And the reason that I was still, even with this rapid sell-off, the reason I still wanted to try to catch that 40-50 point move, I would have been happy with 27 to 30 points, but it kind of moved from 30 points to 50 points really quick. The reason I was still eyeing it was because on this down move, it was a very liquid down move. It was a healthy sell-off. If you see on the left-hand side of the screen, see volume velocity and price velocity. As we started to sell off, volume came in and price sped up, but it was very much a liquid. It was very much a liquid move, and it just there was a lot of players there, right? There was a lot of players there. So for that much liquidity to be all clustered in one area and for it to move that quickly through it, it didn't feel like the game was finished yet, being played up there. And in addition to that, what was also giving me a little bit of, a little bit of confidence that we would still bounce up at least to close was NASDAQ resilience was still positive, right? NASDAQ resilience was still positive as we were coming down here. We were coming into a bull zone on NASDAQ. So defending this area right below was also a bull zone bottom. So kind of the whole thing gave me confidence saying, okay, like the level might still hold. And so I got in a little bit above, right? Because we had overshoot earlier. So a little bit above. I got in the bulk of the like medium position at the level. And then I would have added if we had got down to 24,935. Obviously we didn't. But then it accelerated really fast to the upside. So I wasn't going to try to hold that longer than that. Right? I wasn't, usually don't get 50 points that quick when it's liquid up there. So. Metamorphi digging the jazz today. Nice. Felt honestly the way that move started, it felt like there was some sort of something happened. Something that seemed like a reactive move. That seemed like the market reacted to something. That didn't seem just purely mechanical, like market makers moving the market to traverse that area. That seemed like it felt like there was something. Felt like there was a human trigger to that move. It just felt like the mood shifted. Because sometimes you get moves like that and you can kind of tell it's just gamemanship. Felt like something happened there. Oh, there was a news headline? Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I think there's going to be, there's going to be stuff like that happening intra-session all week. Intra-session all week. There's going to be news. There's going to be little stuff coming out. With the war and stuff going on. There's going to be a lot of stuff like that going on, I'm sure. But hey, I'm not complaining. Gave me my entry, right? Gave me my entry. So, no complaints there. See, how long did I have to wait for it? Let's see. How patient was I? Started wanting it at 150. 250. I don't know. Not that. I guess an hour and a half. It was war stuff. Yeah. See, now, if I was watching every tweet and all that, I wouldn't have been able to. I'm sure I would have had a bias, like whatever the news was. I'm sure it would have biased me. Who knows? Maybe I would have wanted to short at that decision block. That would have sucked. I suck at interpreting the news. Because it always confuses me. Adelia, welcome. Welcome to the room. Adelia shows up. What's up, Adelia? Neon's in the house. I'm here. Dogpedia Shorts. Dogpedia followed me on Twitter. at Neon Cucumber X. It's going to change to at Neon Cucumber. Contacted Twitter to fix that. Rockstar, yeah, it was good, except I tried to scout pre-market and I blew an eval. And that kind of made me think, because I would never try to scout pre-market with my regular account, the current news going on. So, you know, I was disappointed because, you know, I could develop bad habits if I do stuff like that. I gotta make sure I'm treating these like real accounts. I don't want to develop bad habits. Spencer said, where did I get my name from? It just came to the dome, honestly. It just came right to the dome. I think I was like cooking or something. Like Neon I liked, and then the cucumber part, I was like, well, about cucumber, that's cool. A lot of random thoughts enter my head. Spencer said, lol, off the dome? Yeah. There it is. Dog Peter thinks we're heading south tomorrow. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised if the shorts, if it's a day or two from now that we just get that dumpage. But we're liquid up here, so. It's kind of a weird, it can be kind of weird, you know, when you have all this news going on, but the market's mechanically healthy. Right? Matt says it all the time, you know, liquid markets don't sell off. So we gotta wait. Right? That's why I didn't think this was like all of a sudden gonna be a catastrophic. I mean, it still could be. Participants can leave at any time. Right? They can leave within the session. But we're pretty liquid around. We're pretty healthy right now around here. Oh, Pato-chan. No, it's not my... No. That's funny, though. I mean, we could just... probably just rotate around this. Like, to me now it's just going to be difficult to read. I'm sure there's a lot of people slamming on shorts right now. You know, trying to get continuation into the close. So they might get a little squeezage. But it's hard to read. No edge for me here. No edge. I had one spot that I saw edge. I took that one spot. And I wasn't feeling like 70, 72% at that. I was feeling like 64, 65, 66, you know, on my mental scale. That was my confidence there. It was enough that I had to take it, but I wasn't really excited about it because we'd already rallied off that level and we had undershot the main area I was targeting by like 11 points a couple hours ago. So that probably played into why my conviction was a little lower. But I still stepped up to the plate and took it. Did Matt turn green today? I'm pretty sure Matt's been green all session. Pretty sure Matt had a good session. I don't think he had to turn green. I think he was pretty locked in today. I mean, I don't know. I usually join after I'm kind of done for, done my first few trades for the morning. But I'm pretty sure Matt was locked in today. I think Matt had a good day. He was down 20 at the start. Yeah, I mean, 20, that's almost break even for his account. 20K drawdown on that account. It's like a tiny little, it's like the day's barely even getting started. Right? And that's why if you were here on Friday, I was talking about risk units. Right? Because I don't know. Most trades, I think he's risking like 50. I don't know. I think he might be scaling the size based on the conviction of the trade. I'd have to ask him. I wonder, but I don't think I don't think like 20K, that's less than a risk unit. I'm pretty sure. I always say that. Dollars are confusing. Risk units are easy. Spencer said, yeah, Spencer, I don't know. Tomorrow's your birthday? Hey, my birthday's coming up too. Nice. Pisces in the house. Pisces unite. Spencer, I know you say whipping it out's cool sometimes, but honestly, if I could always just look at my P&L and risk units and never the dollars, I would prefer it. I don't, I train myself that way. Let's see. Can I retrieve the poll? We did a poll earlier. And let's see. Anyway, we did a poll. And I think 56% people said dumpage, but we were at the top of the range. So those 56% of people, the room had edge. The room said dumpage when we were at the top. We had a nice little dumpage. Both sides of the thesis worked there. If you were targeting, 20 to 50 points. Dogpedia Shorts. That's a great question. Dogpedia Shorts. Do you keep the risk unit fixed value or do you do it dynamic based on accounts conditions? Well, in the props, I'm still, because it's a little confusing because the 25K and the 50Ks, they have different drawdown amounts. So I'm still kind of fine tuning how much to risk per trade on those. But in my main accounts, I just have two main futures accounts that I trade. One is one that I trade when conditions are just poor, but I don't want to lose touch with the market. So I'll trade smaller size on that one. So it's kind of like a step down, but I'll still adjust maybe size day to day a little bit if I think we're easing into a better market, but I'm not ready to switch over to like, because I think my mind, the reason I separate the accounts rather than just have one account and just trade way smaller size in it is because it's also a mental thing where I kind of switch to say, okay, when I switch to the second account, I'm like, okay, like that means I'm a little bit more confident about the market. So that's a mental separation there. And then within each account, I'll change size a little bit. The sizing varies more when I'm trading the account that I trade when I think the market's good. Because when I think the market's good and I'm hitting something hard, I trade like I trade not big size, but like for me, big size. And I only want to put on that size when I have conviction about the session, right? So I might scale it down 50% on sessions where I'm not feeling it. Dogpedia said, clever trick, you tend to do better when it's with separate accounts. Yeah, some people do better with separate accounts. Like being able to, okay, here's a good example. Being able to only hit one prop account versus all of them at the same time on a specific setup. Some people like that, right? Because they're almost hitting it with more accounts when they're more confident in the setup. Right? But you have to be pretty dialed into your own. You have to be pretty dialed into your own like mental scale of confidence on a trade. And unless you find that you're right about being confident about your mental scale, then that won't work. Right? If when you're less confident, sometimes you're more right, and statistically over time, like you have edge, but you're not good at picking out which trades you're more confident or less confident on, then, you know, maybe that won't help you. That's kind of person to person, I think. Right? Stats. You need to know your stats to be able to decide things like that. Does anyone here copy trade? Does anyone here copy trade? Because it's something I need to decide if I'm going to do that or not. Like, I wouldn't copy trade all accounts, but I would copy trade some accounts, you know, especially like in the morning. Like, it's especially in the morning, because in the morning when I'm trading my main account and the props, right now I'm doing it like without copy trading, and it complicates things for me. Like, it slows down my processing. So I don't like doing that when I have risk on. So for the mornings, I might look into that, because I think it could get me a little bit of mental capital unlocked when I'm executing multiple accounts at a time. So I think it would be helpful for me in the morning when things are moving quickly and I'm locked in. I think it might help, because this trading multiple things at once, it's not ideal. Like separately, there are delays. Yeah, so long as I'm using my main account as the leader, I wouldn't, you know, because the prop accounts, there's no risk, so. Rockstar, you might not have been tuning in, dude. Matt's at the high water mark on his account. I don't know. I think you're wrong there, man. He's been doing good. 100K to 500K. Nice. And this market sucks. I mean, he's been, considering conditions, knocking it out of the park, I think. Oh, and also, you know what? One thing I would say is to do that. I've said it before, but especially on Friday, I had an even greater appreciation for it, you know, because up until Friday, there wasn't really much going on where I thought my edge was there. So I I hadn't really had to monitor anything until Friday. And then Friday, all of a sudden, you know, I'm kind of going through things and something pops up. And, you know, I had to try to get locked in. And immediately after the session, I was like, you know, I don't think I was processing information as fast as I normally would. And it gave me an even more appreciation for it. Doing, like, streaming in the morning session and putting some risk on and trading multiple accounts, like, difficulty level 10, you know? Difficulty level 10. Not like 9.5, 10. Yeah. And that's something I'm going to need to work on. That's something I'm going to need to work on. Making sure I can manage cognitive load and still make good, intelligent decisions while I've got more going on. So Friday was pretty, you know, it was my first case of putting myself through it, and my processing speed was slower. So, interesting journey. That'll be interesting for me to discover about myself. Be interesting, yeah. I'm interested to find out if I'll be able to, you know, do I perform the same when I got more stuff going on? Am I into journaling and all that? No, I'm pretty fluid session to session. Like years ago, I used to journal. I probably haven't journaled. I don't know. It's been many years. Because, you know, I know if I'm performing well or not now. And I know my setups, you know. If I'm maybe working on a change, like last time I worked on a major change to my algo was 2022. I was probably doing some daily journaling. I don't think I was screenshotting and everything. I was just maybe paying more attention to looking at my executions after the session. But other than that, no. And I don't know if you mean trade journaling or if you mean, Matt, I don't know if you mean, am I tapped into trade journaling or just regular journaling? But neither. Dear Diary. It's interesting though. I think saying my trades out loud locks them more into memory, because I can recall some of the setups. I can visualize and recall some of the setups I took last week. Like in my head, one setup I remember is we were at weekly hedge pressure. I think we were at a decision block on Neon Seeds. And I think that was Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, and I hit it really hard. So that, like, I can visualize that in my brain. I think there was a day last week where it was a really clustered, hard to read open, and I think I didn't take a trade at the open because it was a really crowded chart. And then the day following that, it was another really clean level I could hit. Right, these are things I know. I wouldn't remember these things if I hadn't been recounting my trades out loud. So, yeah. So that's actually interesting, you know? Because if you do a video journal on your trades to yourself or something, maybe that will help lock them in memory. If you're journaling and you're trying to remember setups you took and what works and what doesn't work, I don't know. I do know for me, it's locking it in memory more. Because otherwise, I forget. I'll forget yesterday's session by today, which is a good thing, honestly. Five minutes to mock. Market on close in 5. Mock. Rockstar said it helps to set up major supports and resistances in larger time frames and write them down. Yeah, Rockstar, that depends on individual strategies. I think for a lot of people, once they find the rocket scooter platform, once you have you use monthly maps to gain a big picture perspective, and then use the intra-session levels that it draws on the chart. Like I don't really look at daily chart. Like maybe I'll look at them I don't like, it's not part of my routine to look at the daily chart. It's not really part of my routine. You know, like right now right now I know we've been in a big range. I know that, you know, I don't know where exactly we are in the range. I think we're probably in the bottom third. Are we in the bottom third of the range? Let's see. Like, I don't know, because I don't remember the numbers and stuff. I think we're in the bottom third of the big range that we've been in on the daily chart. Let me just change this to like a 15,000 tick or something. Let's see. Data series. Let me see. I'll do a 20,000 tick chart. 20,000 ticks. And I'll make it for 30 days. Let's see. I think we're in the bottom third of the range that we've been in, but I really don't remember. Let's see. It's loading. Let's see how wrong I am. I probably could have just pulled up monthly maps on. I should have just pulled up monthly maps on. Yeah, it looks like we're in the middle of the range. Let me pull up monthly maps on S&P instead. Here we go. All right, let's see. Here's the range. Yeah, we're at the top of the bottom third, I would say. Almost at the midpoint. So, I mean, I was close enough. This range, right? This is the, yeah. Almost at the midpoint of the range. But close enough that I don't need to be like constantly staring at a daily chart. Oh, look where we're at on monthly maps. We're right at a decision point. It's kind of the edge of, you know, where bulls could take back over. One minute to mock. Charms, you want a big drop so you can long? We already got that entry. What level are you watching? I'm curious. What level are you watching for your long? I got my level. That's mock. They're mocking us again. Who said that? Farina. Farina said they're mocking us. Who's slamming on trades at mock? I know someone out there is. You crazy. Not financial advice, do you? Hey, let me ask you guys, does anyone know, because I usually don't have, like, I only brought this up because we're on stream and I just, you know, because it's cool to look at, I guess, but it's quite distracting. Does anyone know if there's a way to make so it only shows the side, it only shows your entry, it doesn't show an arrow pointing up at the candle that the entry existed in? Because I like the carrots where it shows the entry and the exit, but I don't like this big arrow. That's just unnecessary to me. Does anyone know if there's a way to clean that up and just show the carrots, right? Where you actually have executions, but not, you don't need this big point. Like, I can see the other things. Anyone know if there's a way to hide that? Guys, smash the like button so we could do more giveaways tomorrow and overall. Smash the like button. Adam says, smash it. Smash. Mike H. Devious. Devious. Adam, the room shows up. Thank you, man. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here. I don't know, until things kind of settle, I don't know. I think I'm gonna kind of, I don't know. I think it's gonna be it might be it might be a complicated week. I don't know. It's healthy, but so much indecision out there. GT6408, what up, my dog? I want to see the rip your face off rally. I want to see panic buying. That's what I want to see. But I don't know if we're going to see it. Yeah. I mean, I'm thrilled with today's session. So I feel like I avoided some landmines. I just, you know. And you know what? That's actually 5 minutes to close. That's actually I think that's a testament to how healthy things are feeling right now. Like, we got this news and you'd expect to see some crazy whippage and all that. You just didn't see it. A very controlled, okay, hard to predict direction during the session. You know, maybe. I think there was a lot of people on both sides of that thesis. There wasn't, yes, but all the moves were healthy. All the moves were very controlled, very healthy. The only lack of control and lack of health in the market I saw was the open last night. That was chaotic. But it wasn't, there was not a lot of participation. It wasn't like there was funds who were like, oh my God, like, you know, we need to liquidate. Like, there was no heavy volume. So, I don't know. It's almost as if it didn't happen. The market's gonna market. I like that. Yeah, I like that. Dave Mack, 2782. What up, my dog? Dave Mack said, the market's gonna market. The market's gonna market. I like that. I'm gonna start saying that, Dave Mack. I hope you don't mind. The market's marketing. The market's gonna market. That's good. Yeah. The market is gonna market. Mm, 99 points. No way I would have re-entered that trade though. That would have been too cheap. That's the definition of pushing your luck. Even though everything was stable, I was like, nah. No. I ain't all about that. That's hindsight bias. I wouldn't have done it. Guys, smash the like button before we wrap up for this session. Smash it. The room showed up today once again. It was a nice session. Levi saying did someone smack 500 contracts all at once? Let's see where it probably was, let's say. Was it at 306? Was it at 306 someone smashed 500 contracts? Is that when they did it? Or was it just now? Today is a fad. Is a fade? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Guys, don't forget, okay, since we're kind of going session to session with this weird, with this market news that's going on, the open could be interesting, right? Because we could get, like, you never know. Could be some wild it could be a wild night open. So make sure you tune in to see the Sir Darb, aka Brad, aka Sir Darb, at 7 p.m. Eastern on this channel for the night show. The Night Shift. The name of his show is The Night Shift. Tune into that show. And then tune in tomorrow morning at 8:30 Eastern for Matt, aka Matoski, aka Matt. He's doing a $100K to $1 million challenge. He's about halfway there. I believe the account's over 500K now. Nice. That's the close. It's time for some food and some chilling. So I'm going to wrap it up there, fam. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for being here. The room shows up. Thanks for being here for this pandemonium session. Stable but crazy range. See you tomorrow. I'm out for the night. The room shows up. Peace.
Screens glow like city lights, heartbeat caught in the candles rise. Ticks drift through the static haze, future whispers in dead waves. Charts breathe, pulse of cold, echoes where the numbers float. Every tick a breath I chase, lost inside this market space. I'm trading future